that time. So it was like close the business, betrayed by friends,
Hmm.
end up long-term relationship.
Okay.
I was free. I could go
Okay.
anywhere. And
There we go. End of the song. And here we are today a little bit later due to my busy schedule. There come days when you have everything scheduled well, and then one information is just like make it like, yeah, and that's happened today. So yeah, that is why. But anyway, Kate was so kind and said it's okay if we go a little bit late. So yeah, Kate, not Kate. She used to be Kate.
getting some used to it.
Getting used to it. Kasha. That's right.
Yes.
So used to be Kate, now Kasha, or used to be Kasha, Kate, then Kasha. Yeah, something
Yes,
like that.
correct. I think that
Yeah.
would be the way.
So she was so kind that she said, "Okay, never mind if it's 15 minutes later. I'm still up for it. So thank you for that, and thank you for coming."
Thank you for inviting me. My
Of course, of course. Like, when you think about people who live their life with passion and being up to something bigger than themselves, your name popped on the top of the head, and that's why you're here.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, anything you want to share, just like, random sharing, being
Random
here for the
sharing.
first time, it's like, how is it for you?
It's great, it's great to be with you. And yes, have been a long time since we had face-to-face conversations. So really great to be here. And I had one of those days too today.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you plan the day, you've got it all scheduled, and then, things happen
Yeah.
and you just dance in what's happening with your schedule. So really great. And it worked to start a bit later as well. So perfect.
All right. It is like that, right? When we are having the best intention and like really being in, let's call it like in a clearing of that we want it to happen. Sometimes delays happen, and then like all sides are, yeah, it worked perfectly for me and me. Okay, cool, cool. No upsets there, which is awesome. So yeah, we're up here to uh let's say the intention of everything is to give people like the insight of what people who are living their life, uh, who discovered passion in their life and living it, like how did they discover what was necessary. And we start from a teenager age, which is like a common place for everybody. Nobody was like really comfortable. We had a lot of questions. So we're curious, like, how did you do as a teenager? Like, what did work, what didn't work? How did you deal with the whole situation? Maybe what did you miss that would really support you at that time?
That's a great question. So I think like for everybody, being teenager is not, the most enjoyable time, right?
Mhm.
And I definitely had fun. And I think for me, it was going through like a top student, very academic and education based, starting new school,
Mhm.
and suddenly find it very challenging to find myself amongst, new people. And, definitely so like it's me and them,
Mhm.
not, finding really challenging to, be friends with everybody, right?
Mhm.
So pick my people and really stick with them. Um, and I still enjoyed what I was doing, and had definitely lots of fun as a teenager. And not really clear about, what I want to do in the future.
Mhm.
And I always knew that I would like to make a difference to people. That
Mhm.
was that was my thing. I wanted to make a difference to people, be of service. Not really clear, how to do it. What would be the platform to do it, or what kind of difference would that be? But always knew that I would like to be a contribution to people.
All right. It's like perfect what you said, but here we are a little bit more curious, and knowing, right, that I also wrote. So you're Polish, started probably living in Poland, then you moved to London, right? So and then created a business in London, which we all get to. So give us a little bit of insight. How is life in Poland? Like now you can compare Poland, England, or I don't know how it is, right? Never been to Poland, so I'm definitely not experienced it as a growing up there. So how it was for you, like the whole experience, and then in high school also maybe like right when you went to grammar to high school, did you already know it with school? Did you have support of your parents? Like those kind of things we want to know, like teenagers are dealing with the parents and friends and then bodies changing and all this love and being in love and sexual things are happening and stuff like that. So yeah, how was that for you? And what was that flash?
I don't know. Somebody's taking pictures of us. I hope that's
So
pictures, not thunders or some electrical
I
fault.
didn't press anything. I
If
was
we
just
go on fire, it's all your fault. I'm safe. I'm in London.
hopefully not.
Any smoke?
Yeah,
Anything burning?
not yet.
Not yet.
I
All
don't
right.
smell anything, but these
All right.
days many people don't smell.
All
So
right. If you go on fire, I will just carry on talking. All right. So
okay, you just take over the
I'll just
show. That's
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool.
I will deal with your guest next week as well. That's
Yeah,
fine.
cool, cool. On Sunday in Slovenian, maybe you can, you will
Yeah, I
do. Yeah,
will.
you
Yeah, I
will
will
deal
try
with
my
it. You will deal with it.
yes.
Okay, so back to the question. Yeah.
So yes, I was born in Poland, grew up in Poland, moved to London when I was 23. So my teenage years were in Poland. Um, and what can I share about different about my teenage years is that I think I have been working since I was 14, started from summer jobs. I really love being independent, having my own money, not having to ask anybody for it. So have been working since I ever imagine. And then in high school, I have been working after school. So I finish, I went to school, and after school I will go and do a couple of hours of work. And then, party weekends, then go to school, do a couple of hours of work and party all weekends. And that will be pretty much my life. And during the summer, just work and party basically. Yes,
Mm.
that was quite fun. I come from the quite small city where everybody knows each other. So the moment you've got few friends, everybody knows who your friends are and who your family is. And you mentioned as well love heartbreaks. The moment you've got one or two boyfriends, you feel like you have been with most of the people in your circle, right?
Mm.
That's how people know each other pretty well.
So yeah,
And
maybe on this regard, I'm sorry to break you, but it's really interesting what you shared. So how was that for you? Like everybody know everybody, Was there like any, usually sometimes comes bullying, sometimes comes like, some making fun of, or you cannot do something because your father is someone who la la la, all the stories that come up. So what was actually going on there with you?
so actually in the environment I had, the friends I had, there was no issues like this.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was quite open and fun, and everybody knew each other. I have never experienced as a teenager being bullied, even as a child. And I was ginger, okay, and I
Mm-hmm.
wore glasses,
Okay.
and I was fine.
All right, lucky you, I
um,
guess.
yes, there were a few comments, but nothing I would
Mm-hmm.
I remember as a really traumatic
Mm-hmm.
experience. So yeah, so it wasn't anything negative I experienced, even being a teenager. People were really close, and I always had a great group of friends around me.
Mm-hmm.
Just everybody knows each other, that's all. Like, one person, their whole group, and that was the case in the small place.
All right. And then from high school, so did you went to like gymnasium in high school, like the high school which is open for everything, and then you want the best one to get to university too? That's how in Slovenia is, like we have gymnasium, and then you have these high schools who are by professions, like more oriented.
Yes, so I went to the high school, which is profession orientated, vacation school, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my vocation is a hospitality.
All right.
So that was a very exciting school. I didn't know what to actually choose going to
Mm-hmm.
school, and that sounded really exciting. It was longer; it was 5 years, not usual 4 years, and there were two languages we have been taught: English and French. That was exciting as well. Nobody did that. Usually there
Mm-hmm.
was just one language, and it was all about hospitality industry, which was really exciting for me. I love that. I already had some background. I was working hospitality before, and the idea of traveling or working in nice hotels, that was really exciting, something different.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the school I chose, and I completed that, and it was really lots of fun. And from there, I wanted to go. I wanted to study psychology.
All
So
right.
that was my kind of fulfilling on contributing to others. I thought that would be fun,
Mm-hmm.
study psychology. I have applied to 3 top universities in Poland, and didn't get a place, believe it or not. Did not get a place. Missed
How was
out on
that for
that.
you?
It
You know,
was, I was
that
like,
is dealing with failure in those years
yes,
where everybody say what you do next is important for the next 40, 50 years.
yes. And,
Yeah.
you need to get that. And that in Poland, your education is critical
Mm-hmm.
for setting yourself up powerfully for the future. If in Poland, if you don't have a degree or at least one foreign language you're speaking, it is challenging to get a good job and,
Mm-hmm.
really set yourself up for a great career. So, that was like, I was gutted because I wanted always to have this student's life and I didn't get to full-time university. It was a bit, disappointing, but I had to work at that time. So, decided to go part-time.
Mm-hmm.
You find out that you can do psychology somewhere. There was a university in Warsaw, you could study part-time. I thought, great, let's apply for that. And just found out that I missed deadlines. I couldn't do it.
All
But
right. Okay.
they had another subject
Uh-huh.
that time, and I thought, okay, let me go for that, and then I'm going to move over during the year.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned out that most of the people had exactly the same idea, so that didn't work. So I work and study part time for 1 year, and then I changed my university, and I started studying economics. So at that time, yeah,
What? Why
I know,
economics out of all the schools available?
because at age 18, I
Mm-hmm.
already was running my first business,
All
and I
right.
was employing people. I was working for a really big loan provider.
Mm-hmm.
So I was dealing with loans and bailiff services at that time, employing people. So now imagine, I'm 18, that's my first business. I have no idea about running business.
Yeah.
And I employ people at least twice my age.
Okay.
And I'm suddenly the boss. So economics suddenly sound very appealing. At least I will know what to do, right?
Yeah, I get it. And there was a flash again.
I didn't see the
Also,
flash.
you
Maybe
didn't.
that's you flashing. Maybe you
Yeah,
blinking
it's
and
just,
flash.
but it can't.
Don't blink.
Yeah, it comes like my screen is doing that, and I don't know why. All right, I guess maybe
Technical
we'll
issues.
take it as a blessing. Like this had to
Yeah.
be done. So, anyway, it's just it's like for my eyes, it's like what's going on? CIA taking pictures of Mr.
Yes.
JP streaming
Yes.
here, empowering people. Don't do it.
Some paparazzis, hidden
Yeah,
paparazzis.
that's it. So yeah, but all right, let's take a look into that. Right, you said 18 and employing people, right?
Yeah.
So where did you get the trust from the people who like put you in charge of that? It's like, how come? What did you do? You had to do something. You couldn't come into the company first day and they say, okay, you're the one who will be employing people,
Yes.
right?
Well, so I have been working. My dad supported me with getting a work with that was the big shop where the company who was dealing with loans
Mm.
were, providing that loans in this shop.
Yeah.
So it's like, that was a shop with selling TVs and all like, household items. And when I didn't get to uni, my dad said, like, listen, there is this position. If you want to apply for that. And that's the position
Mhm.
I applied for. I started working there. And that's how it started. My doing what I was doing in this position was doing so great, really generated huge revenue for both companies.
Mhm.
That, with suggestion of my dad, I approached companies saying, okay, I would like to open the branch for
Mhm.
you in here and run it for the whole city, not only for this one shop. And we had a few conversations and said, all right, let's do it.
All
And
right.
that's
But
how I set up my first business. So it
that
was kind of franchise kind of
mm,
style.
yeah,
Yeah.
I got it. Yeah, it's like a franchise thing, but then here's a question like, where did you get the courage to do it? Because in my way, it's like that is courageous for 18 years old. It's like, would you say you were like raised like that, or just like from the little age you were just curious? How did that happen? Because at the 18 to do something like that, it's different than most 18 years olds do.
Mm. I think, for me, it was, I really enjoy working with people at
Mm-hmm.
that time. Really enjoy being with customers, really loved being there of service, giving them what they really want.
Mm-hmm.
And it was doing so well. And, when my dad suggested to have this kind of conversation with company, and then knowing how well this one shop is doing, it was like, that could be a really great business, generating really good money. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, I could see myself doing it. I have been doing that in here just to scale it up.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was kind of getting glimpse of what would that be like, and having my dad having my back in there and saying, yeah, you should do it. You will be great at doing it. You should have the conversation with them.
Yeah,
And, knowing that I'm not on my own and he's there just behind me, if anything, and he's got my back, definitely gave me this extra boost to go for it.
definitely
And I
right.
did.
It's like, yeah, that's what actually question you just answered, like how it was for you that your dad stood so strong for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was absolutely great knowing that.
Mm-hmm.
And, he was always that for me. He would always, whatever idea I had, he would like, all right, go for it. Whatever you need, I'm here, go for it.
All
So
right.
I always knew he's there.
Right. Would you say that that is something common in Poland, that people are like that, encouraging their kids? Or it's like, because I'm leading this right, the intention here came from the teenagers, and now it's like for
Mm.
everybody who wants to like see how people live, passion, and stuff like that. But I will always return to the teenagers. I get a lot of questions, like from them. I want to play music and my parents doesn't support me. What can I do about it, right? So I just like want to ask you, is that a common thing in Poland, that everybody is encouraging their youth to go do it, or was that the thing that your dad did?
So I can't speak for everybody in Poland. It
Mm-hmm.
would be
Yeah,
great if
it's a lot
my
of people.
one person can represent the whole big country.
Yeah.
I can't speak for everybody, but definitely, there is this, like I said before, this drive of, really doing well. And
Mm-hmm.
if you have an ambition of having good job, go for uni, great education, have extra language. So that's definitely a drive in there. But what I can say, especially in teenage years, I had a really great relationship with my dad, and he was really, in conversation we could really resolve anything,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever I asked, he would always be there, and he was very, like, he would be very open with everything.
All right.
Um, yeah, so I think that's like, it's not like he had certain ambition for me,
Mm-hmm.
but whatever I came up with, he would really always have my back.
All right. Sounds awesome. Awesome. That,
Yeah,
like, I
yeah.
can connect with that through my parents. But yeah, it's something that I get a lot of questions about. The parents, the child parent relationship and stuff like that. And I just like, that's why I'm curious about like how did it happen, and that, because to have that kind of courage at the age of 18 to start the French, to go to the big companies, like a lot of people are doing well at their job, but they don't go for those kind of next level thing, right? So it's really great what you share. And yeah, it's here to say, like, no matter where you are, you can take that step up if you just be confident in yourself. And it's always great to have some extra boost. So
Yeah.
if you don't have it in your close surroundings, watch this show, and there is tons of people already. Like, this is the 20 show today, so there's 20 people who have your back, so to speak. So, okay, you wanted to go psychology, you didn't get in, you wanted to do part-time, you missed the dead things, right? It was like,
Not
if
happening.
Yeah, if yeah, it's not happening. And if I put myself in a situation, I would be frustrated. I would be like, man, this life, I'm not dealing with it. I'm taking 1 year pause, not doing anything. But you had this work, and then you went and started this franchise, and then next year, I assume you applied for the economics, or the same year.
So when I didn't get to psychology, I straight away started the uni. So it was philosophy I
Hmm.
studied for. Yeah, I have not completed the year. It was just not something which really, inspired me. And
Hmm.
we talked about, driving, well, traveling basically every weekend to the capital, which is, several hours on a train. It was not something what I wanted to do. And I was already running a business. And then, this university opened a branch in my city. And it was just convenient on a doorstep, having uni, just pop in on a weekend,
Hmm.
do your thing, and then get on with your work during the week. So, the I did not really have a gap year.
Okay.
I've been working through, have not completed the year which I started, and then following October I started economics.
All right. Then how was that for you? Would you say that your mindset was like, okay, I didn't get in there. Now I'll go for this because I'm running a business, want to know more about that? Or was your mindset like, okay, I'm going economics, which will be useful, but it's like, this is not it. It's like it in a way what you want to do.
So definitely it was, in a sense, I was a bit gutted that I didn't get to the uni I wanted. There was this
Mm-hmm.
prestige of the universities I applied for and, this dream of the student's life. And suddenly, I'm here in my small town running my business, and there is this economics. Why not economics? At least it's a degree which I can get and could
Hmm.
support me with my business. So that was it. That
Okay.
kind of thinking behind that. Yeah,
Right.
and obviously I didn't want to stay another year,
Mm-hmm.
because I knew if I'm not gonna start uni, then it will be challenging to start it year after or
Mm-hmm.
even further down the line. So definitely I put myself on, and that was a great decision, really great decision. I loved uni.
Mm-hmm.
I made some amazing friends. We are still friends. And
Yeah.
yeah, I got degree and some knowledge about economics, which comes handy, right?
Yeah, which is great, right? I also got it. I spent 8 years studying economics, so I know I don't want to deal with it like professionally. But it is what it is. But I want to say, yeah, that's a great thing, right? Because there's a lot of also people who report, right, who say like after high school, if they didn't go study, they start to work. It's like the smell of money comes in, and then somehow studying just doesn't appear something as appealing as working because you get independent. Today's independence is a lot about if you have money, you can become independent in a way of your own apartment and car, and things that you want, not living at home with parents. So did you move out of your house with your parents when you did all that, or you were living with them all the time?
Now I moved out from my family home. So my parents divorced around when I was 19.
Hmm.
So we were already separating, and I did support financially my mom and my sisters at that time. I was doing great with the business, so I could afford to do that. And shortly after that, I moved out on my own.
Hmm.
So yeah, so business was doing great. So I
All
could
right. Yeah.
afford to, support my mom and my sisters, and then move out and live on my own as well,
Yeah.
and
And
then study.
yeah, yeah, I mean, and that is something, right? Really, really, how to say, respecting in that, so to speak, right? That you choose to study even though your business was doing great, where a lot of just don't take it. You go and you did it. So I think that's really awesome. And you moved out on your own, okay? And you mentioned the divorce of your parents. So how did that affect you? It happened a little bit later in the teenage years, right? It's different if it's happening in 13, 14 than probably 19. But anyway, what was the impact like on you?
Well, definitely. And just to be clear in here as well, my parents separated earlier when I was 7,
Hmm.
and then they got back together, and kind of things went down the hill again. later on. So it was not something which came as a surprise.
Okay.
Um, and being basically an adult, it was the only impact, I would say, it was the distance in relationship with my dad at
Mm-hmm.
that point, that we are always so close and he always had my back. And, after my parents divorced, I was there with my mom and my sisters, and I definitely distanced myself from my dad big time. And
How come? Oh, okay.
blaming him for what happened,
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and, didn't want to have that much to do with him
Mm-hmm.
at that point.
Yeah, and that is exactly right. There is, in Slovenia, the divorce rate is 50%. It's not much less in countries around. I was living in Esbjerg. I always say that in Denmark, which is having 90% rate of divorce, which is like, what? But yeah, anyway, right? So there is a lot of people out there whose parents are divorced, and there's this blame, right? I mean, you gotta you don't know, they don't, nobody is like teaching you how to deal with that, right? They just go like, yeah, you will deal, and then you deal either putting blame or stuff like that. So I want to put it, so if you could do something differently, I know you did now and probably now you have a
Mm.
great, but at that time, what would you do, right? Like, how to say, what advice would you give to yourself at that point to have the relationship you want to have with your parents, both of them, right? Like,
Mm.
what did I
That,
just say? Parents, both of them. I mean, how
yes,
many?
yes.
Yeah,
If both parents, that's
yeah.
correct. That whatever happened between them, it's happened between them.
Mm.
It was nothing to do with me or my sisters. It was their thing to deal with as grown-ups. Oh, I could see the flash again. I did see that. Somebody's spying on us.
I don't know I'm not doing anything. And
I
if
don't
it
know.
flashes at you
I
and
know.
me, then it's like, did you see
It's a
flash only on
spark
my
between us.
side or also on
Just your
yours?
side. Just your side.
Oh, bro.
That's interesting. I hope there is nothing, serious gonna happen in there.
No, I don't think so.
No.
Nothing serious will happen.
Oh, again. Oh,
Now,
maybe.
now I
No,
did it
you did
because
it.
I'm
Okay,
checking
fine.
something. So I'm just closing some programs if maybe that is it, but I don't know why. All right. Anyway, let's hope it will work until end of it, and then I'll go and deal with it for
Okay.
future. But yeah, I need it to work. I need it to work. That's like, that's what I want to do. So I need workable equipment. All right. So you were saying, yeah. So there is whatever happened, it happened between them.
And
So.
that's nothing to do with me or my sisters.
Mhm,
And, I could still have great relationship with both of them
mhm,
because it wasn't about me.
mhm,
And, yeah. And I could be there for both of them, to support both of them because, it was difficult for both of them to deal with that. And I haven't been there for my dad, which I did clean that up after many
mhm.
years. We had great conversation about that, and I apologize for not being there for him.
Yeah, right. Because we think, okay, parents divorced, and then as kids, often, yeah, I mean, we just look at it. My parents didn't divorce, but from the experience of people who share with me, I cannot tell with it from my experience, but it's like we put blame quickly and go on one or the other side, and like, and maybe even there is some word saying you deserve it, right? You deserve to be left alone. You left my mom, la, 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 or my dad, and there is a lot of this, right? And what did you get actually when you thought about it, like how it was for them, and how it was for him, like he was there all the time for you, and what happened between them has nothing to do with you, and then suddenly just because of that you, like, so to speak, abandon him.
Yeah, yeah, I did, and it was until like really many years later, like quite recently,
Mm-hmm.
when I could really see that I did abandon him, which obviously I didn't see that time. And I really felt guilty that I did that, because he always had my back and I wasn't there when he needed somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So it made me feel like, like, yeah, like a horrible daughter, horrible person in
Yeah.
general, horrible person. And I wanted nothing else to
Mm-hmm.
apologize for that. And we had really heart-to-heart conversation that time, and very emotional as well. And it was just great to hear that he have never blamed me for anything. And that was kind of, yeah, getting a peace of mind that he was always there. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter how I was for him, he was still always there, and he still is, which is great.
Yeah,
And we
and
have
that
amazing relationship now, so
mhm. That's awesome, right? And it's like that is what I want to give up, like what I will give out, right? Whatever is happening between parents is happening between them, and it has nothing to do with the kids, right? And then
absolutely.
yeah, and then if dad is not able loving mom anymore or vice versa, right? It doesn't mean he doesn't love you, but
No.
but in that sense it's also get you right. We're having this idea what family is, and then when parents divorce, the idea of the family suddenly is diminished, or how to say, destruct. And then we rarely took responsibility for, okay, we are still family, just parents are not together uh, like supposed to be. and,
Yeah.
and then you got to go blame somebody for it, and usually dads are the one or moms are the one. It doesn't really matter, one of them is to blame. And yeah.
Yeah, and one of them needs to be the bad one, right?
Mm.
Can't be just that's
Yeah,
it.
exactly. And
That's what
that,
it is.
yeah,
No,
that is like,
someone has to be bad one.
yeah, and that is like really destroying relationships between parents and kids, in
Yeah.
especially situations that of course has an impact on them, but it's not about them, right?
And listen, like nowadays at schools, things like this are being addressed.
Hmm.
When I was growing up, nobody was talking about things like this. Nobody was, people knew that things are happening in families, and
Hmm.
it was like this taboo subject. Nobody was talking about that. Nobody will come and check how you're doing. Your parents are divorcing, how you doing,
Hmm.
what's going on with you. It was like nobody spoke about that.
Yeah, it was like a bit of a shameful thing, right?
It was,
Yeah.
absolutely. And people were very careful about that, and nobody would touch the subject. So yes, definitely, nobody thought about teaching people that, or
Hmm.
teaching children that is another thing which might happen in life, especially when you're saying with the rates of divorce, like it seems to be more common than
Yeah.
anything else.
It is, right? It is. So yeah, look, really, really appreciate that you let us in like that. Really being vulnerable here and expose your life and how you dealt with it, and basically tell one of yourself how you were the guy who actually, I mean, the person who destroyed the relationship between you and dad, right? Because your dad, no matter what he did in that situation, he couldn't get the listening of you like that.
No,
He's still there for you and he loves you. So yeah,
no, he
that's
had
really
no
great.
chance.
Yeah.
No chance.
So go back to you having business doing economics, right? And then what happened that you said, I'm calculating here, right? That at the end of economics, you moved to London, right? So how come?
Listen, that wasn't even at the end. That was
That was
halfway through.
all
Okay.
right, all right.
That was halfway through my uni
Hmm.
when I decided to come to London and start everything all over again. So business at that time wasn't going that well,
Hmm.
with all the, lending and borrowing. And situation have changed in business to the point that I just no longer wanted to do it. It
Hmm.
just didn't work. And I have been let down by a few of my employees who were, my really trusted, close friends. I have never imagined that if I'm going to employ people I'm really close friends with, anything could go wrong. And it did. It
Hmm.
did go really wrong. And I just could not keep the business anymore as it was going.
Or can we touch that a little bit
Yeah,
more?
let's touch that a bit.
Less than, right? Because those are like real life situations,
Yeah.
right? It's not all about, oh, she's living in London, how nice, how great, right? Lucky her, right? Look at her smiling now, enjoying London, all those books and pictures behind her, and looks like a fancy apartment, right? With the curtains and stuff like that. I mean, she probably didn't do much in life.
No, had it easy, right?
Yeah, you had it easy, right? So, but no, really, let's touch that because there is, this is a real life thing. You have
Yeah.
friends, and then something happens, and you know, how was that for you?
Uh, oh, that was devastating. That was
Hmm.
something which really, um, I took it very, very difficult.
Hmm.
What happened was the people I employed. So as I said, we were giving loans and then having bailiff services. And funny enough, the girl she was working for me in the office giving loans um, was partner of my best friend who was working for me doing the bailiff services.
All
And they
right.
both met working for me, and I loved them both. I was so pleased they together and they're in such a loving, amazing relationship. Until one day she had an accident and she was off sick, and I covered the office. And then I was just shocked that people came to pay off their loans and they showed the evidence of that. And there was no money where the money should be.
Hmm.
And it was just like coincidence that that one day when I was in office, I had few of these people coming in.
Hmm.
And when I started investigating, I found out that, they took money.
Hmm.
The money didn't go where they're supposed to go. And the same situation was with bailiff services. They went to get some debts, people paid off, and the money didn't go where they're supposed to go. And that left me in a situation of reporting that to police and starting the case,
Hmm.
starting disciplinary action for them as well. I was like, they were my two close friends, all
And
right?
you
I
were
really
how old at
trusted.
that time?
I was probably about 20 at that point.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
your most of your people at that age, like you said, they were in university, living student life. That was like your dream thing to do, right? They were
Yeah.
partying on the weekends, studying a little bit, you know,
Yes.
watching TV show, movies, stuff like that, getting drunk regularly, probably, and you were here dealing with the police and this thing. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So that left me in a situation when the case, so there was significant amount of money which had
Mm-hmm.
to be paid off. And police just said there is not significant damage to the public for them to take an action. So I could, bring a civil case to claim
Mm-hmm.
this money back from them, which was obviously not worth money all the time. And that was the point when, I said, that's it. I can't carry on the business. There is significant damage in here, financial, which I will have to repay. I don't know how long would I have to run the business to be able to repay all of that. And then I decided to stop the business as it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, what really made the final decision, like, having my both friends feeling betrayed, basically, which
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to carry on the way it was. And that time, my very, very close friends, we have been friends from like first class of primary school. She was already in London and she came for holidays back to her family. And she said, listen, I'm going back. Do you want to come with me? And he was like, well, I've got nothing else to lose.
Mm-hmm.
I basically lost everything I have been working for several years. And, said, okay. I closed the business, packed my stuff, everything in a suitcase, everything I own in one suitcase.
All right.
And I came to London with her.
Okay, and did you take it at the time, right? One thing is coming like a lot of people are dealing with unpleasant situation to run away, right? So was the London move now when you look back, was that running away from the issue, whatever happened at home, or it was like next step in your life?
Well, I think both, because
Mm-hmm.
kind of, yes. As I said, I'm coming from small city, so everybody knows each other. So, with all of that happening, it was like we could not bump into each other regularly.
Mm-hmm.
So that was very challenging to deal with. And then obviously this huge debt to pay, finishing like closing the business with big bank where you've got all this in contract regulation that you can't go and work for the competitor, like really limit what I could do professionally,
Mm-hmm.
and found it challenging to find a job which will, give me similar income I was on before. So there was basically really not much for me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there was nothing. There was nothing. Yeah, like, there was nothing for me to stay in for, and yeah, and I even end up long-term relationship that time. So it was like close the business, betrayed by friends,
Mm-hmm.
end up long-term relationship.
Okay.
I was free. I could go
Okay.
anywhere. And my friend said, "Are you coming?" I said, "Of course. I love you, my best friend. I am
Oh,
coming. Why not?"
yeah, that is what I want to look into, because that's like real life happening, right? That's how it goes. You start one thing, you have these projects running, and then comes that one day, like, or 1 week, or maybe 1 month for some, when everything that you've been working on for the past years just go down the drain, and
Yeah.
then you gotta deal with it one way or another, and whatever way you deal it, it's like nothing is right or wrong, but it's just how you dealt with it. And you went to London, and what did you do then? You came to London, you knew your friend,
Yeah. So, from
fresh start. Yeah.
this what she's saying, that was like really money on the street. Basically, we could start a new business. We could just do anything. And there I come to London, and it turns out that my English is not sufficient to have conversations, Like, I was so good with English. What am I supposed to do with that? And then there is like, nobody's offering us job like this,
Mhm.
So what's happening in here? I think for 1 month, we were just like, sightseeing, enjoying. And then after a month, I'm thinking, well, I've got this huge debt to pay off. I can't just be sitting and enjoying London.
Yeah.
Better find some job. And my first job I found, it was for the company who was making driveways,
Mhm.
dropping the leaflets. All right,
Mhm.
which was like definitely not in my field, not somebody who's studying economics and run quite successful business. But
Exactly.
it was like, all right, I need to start somewhere, and it
Mhm.
was a great way to start. Being in communication with people who speak English. Managed to visit quite a lot of the area, not only London. I enjoyed that, and that gave me time to start looking for a jobs I wanted to look, and I applied for any jobs I could apply for. And then somebody gave me a shot, and I found this um, office admin, all right,
Mm. What
job.
does that mean? It's like, where I come.
I
I
know.
don't I don't know. When I look, like, sometimes when I have friends in London, like, check the jobs they're doing, and they're like office admin, and I'm like, what's
What
that?
does it mean?
Yeah, what's that?
Basically, that means that you do everything. You answer the phones, you file documents, you bring the coffee.
Mm.
That's like a very junior position, entry position to any kind of
Okay.
company. And that's the job I started. And basically, I had the most amazing interview, which lasted like hour and a half.
All right.
And, like somebody gave me a shot, which was really great. And really worked my way through the company within 2 years, doubling my salary and being at the most senior position in the company,
Oh.
uh, which was really quite exciting.
Yeah, and I want to, like, take this. You said from young age you knew you want to contribute to people, make a difference. Didn't yet discover in what way would actually be your way. So you were doing different businesses, and then this happened with your friends. Moved to London, and what would you say was the your key to success, that you went from most junior position to most senior position in 2 years?
I just wanted to learn.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to learn. I knew I'm not gonna stay in a position. It is my way of finding my place in UK, really finding myself in UK. What do I want to do? Definitely, the job was I was doing like office based. I knew I'm capable of doing this job, like the spreadsheets, the phone calls, some reports. Um, but in here, like learning how to live in UK. I knew how to be in Poland and how everything works in there. I didn't know how to, normal companies operate in UK. So I really took this opportunity, and I had a really great manager who taught me everything was there to be taught. So I learned how to do accounts, I learned how to do payroll and all the HR stuff, through running like big, reports and working very closely with the directors of the company. And it was still not like, my dream come true job or something which will allow me to fulfill my passion for contributing to people.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the job an opportunity to really learn everything I could learn being in a new country and starting life again.
Yeah, and what sticks with me is actually that you said I was eager to learn, right?
Mm,
And that is
yeah.
something like, I just read in the book that is lying there. You see, speaking being. We both know what is it about, right? Is like it says that one of the greatest things you as a human being can give to others is to be coachable, right? To be open
Mm,
for contribution, and I mean that is more or less for everybody who grows rapid, like rapidly going from a promotion to promotion is like eager to learn and knowing how to be with people, right? Which is also one of your
absolutely.
key strengths.
Yes, being with
Hmm.
people, and it was great to work in the office, being with people and
Hmm.
actually learning through every interaction, learning something new. And you know, I, that was 2 years I have really developed a lot. So everything I know now, it started there. Even my passion for spreadsheets, all right, a little
All right.
giving
Yeah,
you
I know you have a
that
passion for
for
spreadsheets.
spreadsheets.
We've been working on some project together, so I know. But let me ask you that one thing. It's like you came from Poland to UK, right? So how did you take the cultural difference? Like how was you to adapt to the London, which is like, you said you come from a small town. London is like 8 million, something like that, people, right?
Yeah, the only shocking difference was how polite people are. Okay, that is the
Hmm.
shocking difference when you first come to UK. How polite people are, and the second difference is what is the relationship with Polish people being here to
Hmm.
Polish people.
Hmm.
Okay, that was a shock for me because when I came at the beginning, I was like, oh my God, somebody speaks Polish. And the moment they could hear me speaking Polish, they would stop. And for me, it's like, why what's going on in here? And to learn that people are quite either had bad experiences with their own people abroad, or they they I don't know what was going on for them, but after a while I was like, okay, I don't want to do anything with Polish people in here. I
Hmm.
didn't come here to be with Polish people anyway, so I might
Hmm.
as well stay with all the English people
All
and
right.
practice my language and learn everything was there to learn. So that was the only difference,
Mm.
I could say, because even if you are in a big city, you don't actually live in a big city. You live in a part of the city, or
Mm.
maybe commute between. But it's not such a huge difference to living anywhere else in the world.
All
In the,
right, I think great point, right? For everybody who is thinking whether I should go or not go. Go experience. If you
go.
don't experience, you will never know. You will always just think about it, and that will, you will get exhausted by the thinking of it.
Yes.
To be honest, right? So it's much more fun to doing it, whether it goes through or not. So okay, you said 2 years in there, and then what happened? Would you say like with that point, right? Were you like just looking to survive in UK and to have a fresh start and doing, or you already had like your eyes on my passion is this, and I know what I want to do.
No, I think that was the point that that I have never been um, further from my passion.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what to do. I just knew I'm gonna learn everything was to learn, because was our what I was learning there in the office was basic for everything else
All right.
in any kind of job. So I was just pleased to have this job, and how much I'm learning from this job. But during that time, I already got married,
All
and
right.
we're planning family. So before I left that job, I was pregnant.
Mm.
I already knew I'm leaving to have my baby. We just bought our house as well. So a lot of things have been changing. So suddenly, like, this passion somewhere went somewhere, you know, in the closet, waiting for a right moment or never moment, or like, you know, there were other things to deal with. This
Yeah.
normal life situation: pay your bills, buy the house, have a
Yeah,
baby.
I know. I know. I mean, I get it, right? I don't know from experience, but I really get that. And what stays with me is like, I mean, just amazing to have you here, because there's a lot of people who think like by the age of 20, 22, you have to know what you will do in life, right? So like, you're setting yourself up for, we're still back to that thought, 30, 40 years. Even now that is changing. Like with new generations, we know it's like 5 to 7 years at one job, and then you probably change it, or it's even advised to change it so you have the drive for the job. But anyway, so just perfect, right? Coming to London, the furthest away from the passion, but still took it as a thing that it can contribute to your life in a way of administrator stuff. And in the time you met a guy, get married, starting a family, and still not doing your passion.
And finish my degree. I just need to mention that because that's important. I said
Okay. Yeah,
to my university. Yes.
So how did you do that? Did you fly between London and your hometown for the only exams, or also for the lectures? I mean, for the lectures, seems like you flight every day, but did you?
Yeah. So I was flying once a month. Yes.
Okay.
Commuting once a month to complete my studies and do exams. And obviously my amazing friends supported me, and all the tutors and the school were on board for me to continue studying like this. I was able to finish my university from here.
Yeah. And one thing that stick with you is like you were just having great relationships wherever you came. So that's your secret thing. It's like your secret superpower, right? Did you look? You say, I went to London, start new thing. Most of the people go, okay, she's off. We don't want to deal with her. Like she, far from the eyes, far from the heart, right? But you're like, no, amazing friends, amazing tutors, like create people is amazing. They were standing. You went into communication, probably said how you want to deal with it. They say it's possible, all that. But it's just like it's all about having amazing relationship.
Yeah.
Even though at the time, like we're still at that time where you didn't have quite good relationship with your dad, or no relationship, like.
No, that's correct. Yes.
Yeah. Right. But it's like, and that's how life goes, That's how we juggle it. It's like in some areas it's working, and in some it's like, why is not
and
working?
we're okay with that because other areas are working, right? So this one was not really bothering me that much.
Yeah, it was like all other areas are working, so to hell with this area, right? But okay, so you're saying married, have a family. How is that in London? Did you ever had some concerns about raising kids in such a big city? I mean, you said it before that it wasn't big. It's like you live in that community, but anyway, still.
So definitely, like now looking, I've got two boys, a 13 and 7-year-old, and especially with my teenage boy who is a bit more independent. There is always concern about how safe he is on the street with all the knife and gun crimes, and it's a big city. That's something which you can hear daily. There is this concern, yeah.
How you deal with it? I mean, you have this concern. How do you deal with it?
I just speak to my boys. I speak to my boys about all of that, and I just believe that value we bring in, we just need to trust that we gave them everything they need to make the right decisions for themselves.
All right. And I want to ask you, right? So when you had your first child, right? We are there now. Me and Ursha. He is 2 months old. I shared before. Sometimes he cries. We don't even know why he's crying. What's going on? I mean, there are 4 basic things why babies are crying, but sometimes you're just like, seriously, dude, you're fed. The diaper is changed. Like when I touch your tummy, nothing is going on. Like when they're having a little cramps, you can feel it because it first goes in the tummy and then they start crying. He might be tired, but just shut your eyes then. Why are you having open eyes and cry when you want to sleep? So give me something here, So how did you deal with that? I mean, if it happens to you, if it didn't, so then,
Listen, that was the most challenging time for me because, I did not have friends in here, a part of my best friends who I came with here to start off. And my sister was already here as well. I got my sister to come here. But I didn't have anybody else. Like I didn't have friends. my work colleagues, they were way older than me with families, and I did live on the other side of the city from
Mm.
my workplace. So when I gave birth, it was like suddenly me and my baby,
Mm.
and I had no clue what to do with my baby. I never had children. That was the first time I changed nappy in my life. All right, when my son was born, like
Mm.
I didn't know what to do. I have never felt that lonely as I
Mm.
did that time, having my baby and not having anybody. My husband was working all days, and I was on my own all the time.
Mm.
That was the most difficult and challenging period for me. And I had that time. I have decided that I'm not going to return to work, just because it didn't like. I looked at different places where I would leave I didn't have anybody to support me with the childcare.
Mm.
So the option was just to leave him somewhere in a nursery or a childminder. And I've seen few places, and I just came home and cried because it was just depressing. Where would
Mm.
I leave my child? To go and work 9 to 5, not see him all day, spend most of my wages on the childcare in a place which is like heartbreaking to leave your
Mm.
child. I
Mm.
just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. And I didn't know how we're gonna manage on one wages with, we just bought a house with the mortgage and the bills and everything. But I knew that, I can't go to work and leave my child.
Mm.
And at the same time, I was struggling being home,
Yeah.
on my own.
Well, how did you deal with that struggle? It's like, I'm asking you for advice here, give me something.
Give me some goals. I
Give me
can
coaching on
never.
how to deal with the little
Wow.
guy.
There is no, there's,
Yeah,
children don't come with manual, and
exactly. Yeah.
parenting doesn't come with manual.
But they could say something more about it. Now I'm thinking
Um,
about it. It's like they could say, look, when you will be a dad, right? There will be mom and a little guy. So have that amount of time free in your schedule, or whatever. It's like the little guy will be. Nobody says the little guy will be crying and you won't know how to deal with it. It's like they all say, no, you change the diaper. It's
it's so
okay.
beautiful. You're gonna have so
Yeah,
much
right.
fun. Yeah.
Right. And
No, like
then there are most of the days you're thinking like, I live 11th floor of the 13th, so it's like, I mean, it's frustrating. It's just
it is.
frustration in a way, right?
It is, and
And you,
being
yeah,
constantly tired. And listen, for me, what happened as well, like, I have always been quite, slim built. And after pregnancy, during pregnancy, I put lots on weight. And then, when you have a baby, everybody comes and see you and they bring chocolates. And
mm,
then you just like this tired person walking like a zombie, don't know what to do with yourself, don't have anybody or nothing to do. You just end up eating all these chocolates, all right?
yeah,
So I just put so much on weight. Like I
mm,
was like, not only I was lonely, depressed, and I was struggling with all of that, then I was fat too, okay?
mm.
And so I don't have an answer to you, okay? I don't
Okay.
have an answer. There is no answer, okay?
Okay, then
Just
give
work
me
out
the.
something.
I'm just like curious here,
But
and
I can.
having really fun because like okay, but if you put yourself in those shoes again, right?
Mm,
What would really support you at that time? It's like what would be the things that you think, I mean, or more things or actions or words that would support you in that time too. It's like if any young mother come to you now, right, which is in similar position, like what would you say to them? How can they, what should they like pack themselves with that they can
make
be,
friends while you're pregnant, so you
all
can
right,
have babies together with your friends. Like
okay,
go antenatal classes and whatever pregnancy groups.
mm-hmm.
Just be with people you've got something in common with.
Yeah,
Because after a while, of course, I did make friends. I went to the play groups and playgrounds and children centers. There is a lot of things in
mm-hmm.
London you can access like this. And I made lots of friends, moms with children similar age, and our
Mm-hmm.
kids got on and we got on and we're still friends and our children are still friends. But before that happened, that took at least, year and a half before I really got myself there,
Mm-hmm.
which was challenging. Yeah.
Yeah, and now we are in a lockdown now, And since the beginning we have this a little policy on our end that first 6 weeks where it's only us that we really get to know each other, and now it's lockdown, so it's really only us all the time, right? And I don't have work to go away, so I work home, right? So that's like, wow, how, I know I can support to be there, but it's, at the end, it's like you said, your husband was working most of the time, you were alone, right? So
Yeah.
so yeah, but really, thank you. I appreciate the honesty here, and right, it's just, it is what it is. So each of us has to find their own way, right?
Absolutely. The main key is like really take care of yourself,
Mm,
because you can't give anything either to your wife or to your child if you don't take care of yourself.
exactly. Yeah, that always comes up, right? It's like, even in this book that I'm reading, that's why I'm so like, mentioning it all the time. It's a ongoing thing. It says in there. I just read it on podcast we had on Monday, right? I read a short, a few sentences out of it where it says basically that the most valuable thing the parent can give to a child is to take care of themselves, their well-being, and that is like, if you're happy, you will be great with your kid, and if we are
Yeah.
not happy, it's like, so all right, great on that. And what did you, we are anyway also covering what you went through, right? In a
Yeah.
way, like you were at home having a baby, year and a half passed by, you decided to stay. So what happened then? And still, you still didn't say anything about, oh, I discovered what I want to do in life, right? So
Well,
yeah.
so I think something which where it started, where the
Mm,
seed was really planted,
mm,
when my first son was born, and when I saw him, it's just, at that point, because of the labor and everything, I didn't sleep all day, all night, all day.
mm,
And then I was just, it was probably like 8 or 9 p.m. at the evening. And I was just lying down and I looked at him and he was just so perfect. He was so gorgeous. And I have never felt loving somebody so much.
mm,
Like for the first time, I really got what it means to love somebody. And he was mine.
mm,
He was, he was mine and I knew he's mine, this kind of love.
mm.
And, um, and I just knew that's like suddenly I got my purpose in life. Like
All
in
right.
that moment, I knew that is my purpose in life.
And if you say it otherwise, how would you declare it? Your purpose in life is to be a mom. Is
Ye-
that? I'm
I wouldn't
dwelling here.
call it,
Like,
I wouldn't
yeah.
call it mom, but like,
Uh,
you know, um, hmm, like the love for
mhm.
children,
Okay.
is my purpose.
All right.
Suddenly I discovered that I can love so much and give so much. And I knew what I've got to give.
Mm. All right. And what happened then? What happened out of that seed?
So out of this seed, all right, I was like, okay, so now I quit my job. I've got a
Uh,
bank and a mortgage.
yeah. Exactly, like horrible.
What do I do
Like that
now?
is the worst situation you can be in. Like that is what parents are trying to prevent their children to have when they
Yeah,
have
don't
kids.
do as I did, or I do as I tell you. And listen, it wasn't all roses, all right, because there
Yeah.
was a stage when we basically lived on credit cards.
Mm.
There was like no options. Like we bought food on a credit card, hoping that some
Can you, sorry to interrupt you, can you just put the mic a little bit closer so that we,
sorry,
it's all good. It just went on your hair and then away from your
no
mouth.
problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was really challenging. Like, it was challenging situation, and I knew I don't want to go to like like normal work because I
Mm.
didn't want to leave my son. And friend of mine suggested, well, register as a childminder. And I was like, are you crazy or something? I barely manage my one child. You want me to have more children now to take care of? She
Mm.
goes like, you could get yourself trained and you could set up your business. Is at home. You could be with your son and then bring in income.
Mm.
And I started looking into it. And in that point, local authority was really supporting with the training and buying resources. And I got myself trained in the childcare. As you heard before, I have no experience with childcare, no qualification in childcare. So I got myself trained, registered a business to work from home, and took my first child on when my son was 18 months. And straight after, I took another child and another child. But before I knew it, I had 6 children under my care, and I ran a house, and, it was amazing. I didn't know I can, run full-time business, generate money. I was gen- better, way better than I was before,
Mhm.
working in the office in quite senior position, be at home, be with my son, be able to shop, cook, go out with friends for a coffee and lunch, and, take children to the playground. It was amazing.
Okay, so give me a little bit. I get it. Give me a little bit insight on that, right? So how did this taking care of other children happen? It's like you had your son there lying, and then 5 children which are similar age, right? So you had them 6 on the ground, right?
Well, I did not
But
sit them
for
on the ground.
yeah, okay. I mean, on the ground, these are now these mattresses. You can see them on the ground, like
Yeah.
it's soft ones, not on the hard floor. It's just for getting them stronger. You put them on the hard floor. We don't, but yeah. Anyway, so you had them 6 there, right?
Yes.
But how did it look like? Did you take care for them from 9 to 5, like their parents were at work,
8
or
to 6.
8 till 6?
6,
Okay.
Monday
But you
to
said
Friday.
I went shopping. I went for lunch with friends. Where were the kids?
With me all the time.
All the
I
time.
would meet other moms with other children. Our children would play together.
Mhm.
We would take them to the park. We'll take them to the play group, to the playground, and because children growing up in a home environment with the childminder as I was working, they learn through like real life situation. When you go to the shop, you take your children with you.
Mhm.
They help you to do shopping. We're preparing shopping lists, and they were helping me picking things from the shelves, putting to the basket. We were baking together, we were tidying up together, we were painting, doing Play-Doh and singing and all sorts of fun things together, and I just discovered how amazing job is with kids, and all this love I had for them. Like suddenly, my God, that was my purpose.
I mean, it's brilliant what you're sharing, right? It's just like it's not that I'm looking into it. Oh, we can deal with one.
Maybe you should.
How did you deal with 6? But I'm looking into, right, from going from one kid, which all you think that you said you've been in the situation you've been, you take on learning, and then having 6 of them at that moment. How did you deal with them? I mean,
Well,
not
so the
how did you deal. It's like how did you get them enrolled into like going with you to a shop, and like that they weren't all over the place, like because we like you most of the I imagined, like you bring 6 kids into the shop, you'll be like, you won't be shopping at all, you'll be just catching them all the time, right? Like bringing them and then putting them in the basket, and you put another troller, so you have another troller for the groceries. So how did you deal with that?
yeah, so don't get me wrong. It wasn't like, shopping, clothes shopping or something. We'll
Yeah.
pop out to buy bread and milk, for
Okay.
example. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
In, out, quickly, just
Yeah.
buy a few items. And of course, I'll have a twin pushchair, 2 children in a pushchair, two older one walking and holding, or, baby in a carrier, or, there will be different ages
Mhm.
of the children I took
Okay.
care of.
All
So
right.
it wasn't the same age. And,
Uh,
the older one will support the younger one, and, really great routine throughout the day to keep us running. And yeah.
I mean, amazing, right?
And the
Amazing.
thing is, I don't work like this anymore. So sometimes I think myself now, like, how on earth did I do that?
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, that's us. Okay, so what did you do from then, right? You were taking
um,
care of 6 kids. You were like, going around. You find your passion. Like you said, I find my purpose, my passion. I want to do
yes.
this. So to break on this point, right? For the viewers, it's like who maybe hasn't been with us the whole thing. It's like, how old were you at that point?
Oh my God, you're asking such a difficult questions. Now we're
Well,
gonna
I
get
know.
how old I am now.
Nah,
um, so oh my gosh, so I was probably 29.
All right, so 29, right? It's like that. That's what I want to point out. It's like because you find your passion at 29,
Yeah.
which is like
Yeah.
it's a thing. It's never too late, right?
Absolutely. And listen, that
Yeah.
is only one of my passions. There are other
Exactly.
passions which we're probably going to get there in a moment, right?
Yeah. But that's what I want to say. It's like a passion from which you could actually do and earn and live from it, right?
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
that is the what we want to like expose here, one of the main intentions, right? So at the age of 29, right, which is like, it's in its way, it's phenomenal, right, that you could be like give up so many times on what you want to do, right?
Mm,
But
yeah.
we always get that life gives us chances on what we, then it's just like whether you take it or not. You could you could
Absolutely.
say to that lady, go F yourself with that proposition. It's like, I have one and you want me to take care of more. Are you serious? Right? But
Yeah,
something is pulled you through. You said yes to that, and you basically said yes to life right in that moment.
I did. I
Yeah.
did. I absolutely did. And, I have never regret that.
Right. And
Yeah.
like, even when you think back, it's like all those 28 years and a change if you were 29, it's like they never happened. What the most important thing is what you will do now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I was in different situations, different circumstances. And it was like, for me, thinking outside of the box. What's now?
Mm,
What how I'm gonna create my life now,
mm.
for this new child. And, I do need to do something. And I
Yeah,
knew that nobody else is gonna do it
exactly.
but me. And I did
Yeah,
it.
and how awesome it is, right?
It is awesome.
Inside of that, you find your passion, which is like you never know how you find it. That is also one of the points. It's like there are
Absolutely.
as many as people, that many ways of finding the passion. So, okay, what did you do next then?
So I have been working like this for a couple of years, and then I discovered my second passion because I mentioned that I put on
Mm,
weight,
mm,
and so I didn't want to look the way I looked, I
mm,
wanted to go back to shape,
mm.
and I discovered my passion for fitness. Running. I started running, really
Right.
got inspired. I started running, and every spare moment I could, early in the morning or the evenings or the weekend, I would just go for a run. And I started running and start looking into healthy eating and really taking care of myself.
Mm,
At that point, I was taking care of a group of children, and I really took on taking care of myself. And you know, I lost all the weight I wanted to lose, and I was in the best shape. And and then the baby number two comes.
all right.
Yes, and then baby number two comes. My older son started school, and I had a really great relationship with the school director. It was new school set up from like a very beginning, and he knew I'm working with children. He often recommended me to parents.
Mm,
And when the school started, they started like after school provision, like
mm.
taking care of children after school. And he asked, like, do you want to take that over? I said, listen, I'm pregnant now. It's not the best time to start new business when I'm pregnant.
Mm. Yeah,
So we have
it's
to
never
take
a good time to
no,
start a new business, right?
no,
It's always
not when you are
something. It's like
pregnant. Like seriously,
not when you're pregnant, not
having
now.
a
It's
baby and
like
a business, no, no, no.
or
I
just
already in a
your ice cream fell on the ground and it's not a
yeah,
good.
no,
I'm
no.
just joking here, but it's like, it's never a
I
good
know.
time to do something
No.
new, right?
No, I'm telling you, buying the house and having a baby at the same time really doesn't work. Don't do that. All right. It's
Yeah.
extremely stressful. And that's what I did with my first one. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't
I
do
said,
it.
I'm not doing that again. I'm not
Like,
starting a business. And
it's
so,
like before you said intention here is anything is possible, and now she goes like, hey, don't buy the house and the kid at the same time.
oh, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't start the business while you're pregnant. No,
Yeah,
no, no. You
no.
shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do it. But, the seed was planted, right? With me and the seed.
Yeah.
And, but that time
You're quite a farmer, aren't you?
I am definitely. And that time, so I gave birth to my second child, which is my second boy. And guess what? I have been working on Friday, still working with my children, yeah,
Mhm.
and giving birth on Sunday.
All right.
So that was my style of working. 2 weeks later, I was back at work
Really?
with my children. Yes,
With
really.
all of them. Like
All of them.
two.
At that point, no, that at that point I had three extra children and my baby.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that was the best.
You just had five there. It's
Yes,
now okay. You're the
just few.
oldest one who just went to school, so you were off
Yeah.
of
So
him. So you had
yes,
four 2 weeks after birth. Just like yeah, any lady can do that. Nah, they
absolutely.
can't.
That was
Nah,
fun. I'm telling you, of course. Of course. That
nah,
was
but it's really like, guys, if you don't have kids, you will see what it does. How exhausted a woman can get after the birth, right? It's really body shifting. Okay, it was the second, which you could say, okay, my body's a
that's
little bit
easier.
used to it, a little easier, but it was actually like, from your experience, was it easier the second time than the first?
Absolutely. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that was so much easier. Like I knew what to do, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was the secret. I knew exactly what to do, and so I was more confident as a mom.
Mm-hmm.
And having other children as well, which were a bit older, they were really great, and they were girls, so they were like a like I gave them a doll to play with, They were
Mm.
so great. They loved it, and
But
you
how did you
know,
deal with having kids there and then breastfeeding? Because there is a lot of breastfeeding. I'm just
yeah,
having all
just
these
normal.
questions. I'm
That's
a
a good
father
question.
now.
I know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
all of that. Yeah, just normal. It's like it's I don't know how it is in Slovenia, but it's something very natural in here.
Mm.
So like I was feeding the other children, I was feeding my baby the
All
same
right.
time. And it wasn't anything.
Mm.
And they're very curious. They come and check out how is it going, what's happening in there, and it's like, you
Yeah, you
know,
just use the circumstances in your favor, I would
yeah,
say. Yeah, right. Yeah,
learning from
learning.
life
Yeah.
situations, the
I
best.
mean, and that's the best learning that can happen. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
So you, second baby, have
Yep.
four kids in there 2 weeks after the birth, and then the plea, also the seed was planted. Not to mention that weight in your
Yeah, of
head.
course. The city is there. City is growing, right? And then I had an opportunity to go back to uni.
Hmm.
Okay. So to get my teaching qualification. Uh, because obviously I'm still not a teacher at this point. I'm now childcare qualified, but not a teacher.
Mm.
But I said, well, that will be fun, right? Breastfeeding and starting uni again. That sounds like a lot of
And
fun.
four kids, and then one comes home from the school, so
Yeah,
two of your own and a husband there to be with. So why not put some extra weight on it?
yes,
Yeah,
yes. So that's what I did. I
yeah.
went back to uni, and thanks God for my degree, because that takes a bit easier with the
Mm-hmm.
second degree when you've got one already. I did my teaching degree while on my breaks. I was going and breastfeeding my baby.
Mm. But did you
And
also
then,
went to the university and also have
yeah,
the job?
that-
So how were you at
I was
the
working. So
classes?
that was part time. So there was
Okay,
certain
okay,
days I had
okay.
to be at uni.
Mm-hmm.
Then obviously there were certain days I was working with children, having
All
my
right.
own children, and picking up children from school with my son as well.
Mm-hmm.
So juggling all of it and spending nights and weekends writing all the assignments and doing all the work, and then a few months later I got my degree, and I went back to school to the
Mm-hmm.
director and I said, do you still want me to run the after school club? He goes, yes. All right, now I'm ready.
All right.
So we did, I sat down with him, we had a great meeting, and then I brought it to the drawing board, did my numbers, my spreadsheets, right?
Yeah.
And I said, well, okay, that makes sense. That would work,
Mm-hmm.
And within a couple of weeks, I started running the after school club provision on the school premises.
All right.
And I moved from working from home to working on a school premises after school, and started with 15 children, and I had to employ people again. All right.
All right. How was that for you?
And that was like, I did not want to do it. Really, I did
Mm.
not want to do it. And I think that's why for years I have not moved my business from working from home, because I could work on my own. I didn't have to employ anybody, to suddenly expanding to the point that I had to employ people. And that
Mm-hmm.
was the very scary part for me, after experience I had in the
Yeah.
past, trusting people again. And this time trusting people with somebody else's, the most precious positions,
Mm-hmm.
children.
Mm-hmm.
It was really, really challenging to start off,
Yeah.
right? And I did, but I made sure I'm there all the time. behind their back,
All right.
watching what they're doing.
How was that? Like, you said that you were scared to trust people again, and I would say
Mm.
that's like, in a way, it's life-threatening situation, right? It's like, what if
Yeah,
they don't just steal money? What if they do something to the babies? It's
yeah.
like, you got a bad name there, and you basically have to move out of the country again.
I know. Tell me about it. And
Yeah.
at that point, I had really great reputation.
Mm,
People knew me, people would recommend me, people knew me for what I do.
mm,
So and listen, starting new business again, because, moving to the school premises, starting working with all the children, I was risking everything I already had running for
right.
several years at home. It was not only employing people, risking what I already had and risking my own reputation. Like,
And
I put
basically your
everything,
family, right, as well.
uh,
Yeah.
and my family future. Yes, I put
Mm.
everything online and I did it. The seed was planted.
How did you deal with it, right? With that fear. You said I was being there controlling them, and I imagine that today you don't do it anymore. So how did you,
Absolutely.
yeah.
No, I could not run business like this, right?
Right.
Controlling.
So how did you deal with it? How with the whole situation?
It took some time,
Mm,
and it really showed on everyday situations what I could rely on my staff with.
mm,
And I was just blessed with amazing people, really. Especially one of the people she worked with me, she ran that business like she ran it her own business.
right.
Really, she was absolutely amazing.
Mm,
I learned so much from her as well, how to manage group of children, the older children, because I was working with younger children. So now
mm,
we're talking about 5+ when I was
mm,
working with the little ones so far.
mm,
And she was excellent and so reliable, so caring and
mm.
so loving. And I felt like she's got my back, you know
All right.
and this relationship started, like, I knew I'm safe with her.
Mm. Okay. And how does this business looks today?
So the business now, as it is at the moment, is that it is actually my dream come true.
Mm,
And I have my own premises, which I have never imagined would be possible in London, in quite central location, to have my own premises. I
all
have my
right.
own premises on a
Wow.
very long-term contract with a local authority. I have a preschool in the premises. So in the
Mm-hmm.
morning, we provide the childcare government-funded hours for 3 and 4-year-olds.
Mm,
After afternoon, we have after-school club children still coming from the same school. So we have been working with that school for now 8 years.
wow.
And during the school holidays, we have holiday club, like,
Mm,
for children from 3 years and above. And I have a team of amazing people who work for me, including this woman
yeah. Yeah.
I met starting that, and she's still manager. She's managing my whole business. She runs a team of people, and I don't even have to be there. They are
Right.
amazing. They run it better than I ever imagined running it myself. And parents love us, they recommend us, they speak well of us, children are happy. And I always dreamt of having a childcare setting which will provide a quality
Mm,
childcare, somewhere where I would be safe to leave my own children.
mm.
And that's what I have.
And it's just, it's brilliant on so many levels what you're sharing. First one is like, right, having your first experience in your own business the way it was, right, with how it ended with basically stabbing in the back, stealing money of the employees and stuff like that. And then there was this second opportunity, right, where you could just say, I'm staying at home, right?
Yeah.
I will do this for the rest of my life. I can take care of 4 or 5 kids, and the salary was probably good. You said it was better than in the office,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
yeah, so right. But then is there is something, right? Do we go back to that you want to contribute and make a difference, and your secret key is to have great relationships with people? It's like it's just like you pulled it off, right? But then came this fear, which is big, right? It's like in that moment we just discovered it's like life threatening. it appears like that. So everything is on the point. And to go over that, right? What would you say beside that was key successes for your business that it is now the way you just said it was? It is, sorry.
I think the key is that, fear is always there.
Mm.
It is. That's the truth. It's even now, with the current situation, with the COVID, and throughout all these years I have been running my business, I lost my business nearly 3 times. And there is always a fear, like what's gonna happen and how we're gonna manage the situation. Can I trust people? Are we gonna have enough children? And we can either have our fears stop us and control what we do and how we live our life, or have that our fear is there and still take an action, because the commitment is always bigger than the fear.
Right. There you go. There we go. Everybody. It's like, yeah. And we just had also a podcast on commitment, right? And that also appeared there. It's like it's frightening, right? Especially
Mm,
when you put up a project which is bigger than this, when it's not about you anymore, right? When it's not about just me going to earn money, so I can live my life or survive my life, whatever, so to speak. But it's like, I want to set up a business where other children would feel great as my children do, right? So,
yeah, yeah.
and that is like, that is like a great experience for those kids to have at that young age that you probably wouldn't there's how I imagine, I don't know, you will say it, but I imagine that there's like little to nothing bullying there. It's everything, it's about co-working with one another, understanding, and coming from different backgrounds, like to respect that, to not make fun of it doesn't mean anybody's like, how I know you, I assume your business is also that way. You will now confer it whether it is or not.
Of course it is. I wouldn't have it any other way. It is a
Yeah.
safe space for all of them. And, you know, something which I can point out too, like, what really keeps me going is that it's not about me anymore.
Mm.
It's now, you know, in my hands, I have, future of all these children who come to my setting. I employ 6 people, and this business keeps on going because I know we're doing something great, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I know that we impact how these children grow and what kind of adults they're gonna become. We
Mm.
make difference to their parents and their families. And I know that throughout my business I impact my employees and their families as well. And that really keeps me going. And that's why this fear, like, there is no place for me to
Mm.
really worry about that, because I have all these people to take care of.
Yeah, and it's just great. Another thing you just said, right? You have fear, and then you can worry about your fear, or you just don't worry and follow your commitment, right? Because
Yeah.
fear is not bad. It's like, in some situation it prevents you from doing some things. Like if you would stand off top of the building, fear would prevent you to step over the edge, which is, in that case, fear is good. But
Yeah.
then in case of following your passion of what you want to do in life, it's like if you're afraid of that, then fear is more of a survival mode, and being all unhappy and unfulfilled and unsatisfied than something that would actually support you.
Mm,
So in
absolutely.
that case it might be bad, but it's just like something not to worry about. It's not authentic in that places.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's great, like, right, okay, I have a fear, now I have a choice whether I will worry about it or not. Then okay, I won't worry about it, it's just a fear, I can still go, and yeah, it will be hard thing. But then comes this thing that you said also, it's trust in people, right? In
Mm.
and it's
And
basically,
not
yeah.
not only people, but myself as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not doubting myself, not just trusting that I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. And that is like also one common thing of all the guests so far who came, right? It's just like they trust in what they're doing, and they trust in their either spouses or partners or teams, or they
Mm.
try, they have a group of people around them that they trust, and then they do these amazing things, which is also, you find your passion, but you cannot do it alone in the land of 7 billion people living there, right? So
Yeah.
You got to do it with somebody, and if you trust, it's so much easier, and you can fulfill then on your dreams. So we can definitely take that from you as well. So everybody take that from Kasia.
Kasia, yes, you got that.
You got it.
Yes.
So yeah, because I know her, as Kate for about a year or more, right? And then just not so long ago, and we weren't so much in contact in the last few months. But you changed to Kasia, which I really respect. And give me an insight on that, right? So you're probably Kasia, then you go to Kate, and now Kasia again. How come?
So my name was always Kasia, and I think just coming here to UK, I just I've been annoyed that people can't pronounce it properly, okay? And it's just, Kate is the equivalent of Kasia. It's the same name, just English version. Yeah. So it was just easy for everybody. And at the moment I am going through divorce, and with everything going on, it came time to really own myself, and that's why I'm back with Kasia.
All right, cool. It just sounds like you accepted yourself in a way where you weren't accepting yourself before. Man.
Or stood for myself, and I don't think that time comes to tell my age, right? So I'm 40 years old.
All right, you said it. I didn't provoke it, so it was you.
But you know what? It's like you said before, there's never too late to discover your passions, and I have never been in a better place in my life, and I'm very clear who I am, what I want, where I am, where I'm going, and it's just like owning that.
Right. So I mean, great what you said, because it's like we are so much as a humanity.
Your mic is a bit funny now. I don't know why.
It's funny.
Oh, now it's good.
Now it's
good.
Okay.
Speak to the mic then. Speak to the mic.
Because I went a little bit around, and I have the option to only being here. Yeah. That's how can I be a still person can be, I guess. But that's it.
No. Yeah.
So do you hear me well now?
No.
No.
Not talk. Yeah. No good.
Now good. Here.
Yeah. No good.
I get to speak. Jeez. So again, this mic thing. Let me do something. But this should catch sounds all around. So I don't know.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, cool, great. Thank you for that. It's like then I have this chat goes like, hey, we can hear you properly, and I'm like, I just bought a new mic. What now? I'm not gonna take it. So we gotta do it.
There is something going like you're going like under the water,
Really?
Yeah.
Chat, is that for you as well? Then my computer is acting funny. Maybe because
that's better. That's worse.
Yeah. Okay, that's worse.
That's.
How is that? That's
better.
That's better.
Fine. Don't move now.
All right. Let's just tell me if it's not working properly. But thank you for that. Yeah. So yeah, where we stopped. Yeah.
Passion. There's never too late to discover your passion.
Exactly, right? And what I want to say, we as humanity are so stuck in the past, right? That because in the past I didn't do something, or I couldn't do something, or something bad happened, it's like, you just set yourself for less in life. Like, you could be Kate until end of the life. And that's like, for some people with that, but that's not a big thing. But in the end, like, it is. You just sell out on right on your origin, like who you are, or who basically who you came up with, and yourself your whole childhood like that, right? And I don't say anything is wrong with you, but you didn't like own Kate, you own Kasia now, right? That you just said before. And and it's also what you said about the passions, right? You found it during being a mom, not even becoming a mom, being a mom, right? And it's like, it's never too late. So yeah, what are quickly, because time flies, but anyway, you see when people ask me,
when you're having fun,
when people ask me, how long and thank you guys for Sunshine Blob and Karina, thank you for saying that they hear me well, so it's probably just maybe just something on our relation.
The sound is still funny. Yourself.
Oh, well, deal with it. I'm joking. Do you hear me well now? Let me put it back. I'll put it back, and I'll speak directly into it. Is
Yeah,
that
talk
okay
like
now?
this.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
okay.
So what are your other? No, before that, I want to say, right? Everybody who is coming as a guest, they ask me how long is the show, and then I say, look, it's set for 1 hour, but it wasn't shorter than 1 hour 20 minutes. And everybody like, oh my, no, what are we gonna talk about? And there you go through their life, and we could go on for 4 or 5 hours, and then I need to shorten and make the conclusions that actually fulfill our intention here. So just tell us briefly, what are your other passions in life besides giving children what you actually want for your children and make it into a business?
I didn't get the rest. You still kind of, your voice is disappearing. I don't know what's going on with your mic now. Your mic is giving up on our conversation.
Yeah, okay. I will talk. Do you hear me now? That this could be the most funniest clips ever. I mean, it's
That's
will
gonna
be
be like
like I will
next
be
week.
like, should I leak my microphone now? Do you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay,
Remove.
okay. I'll hide behind it, so
Yeah.
you will only see my eyes. Anyway, so yeah, what are your other passions beside taking care of the children, like as your own?
Yeah, so a part of working with children and their families, like, I really discover a passion for, well, so there's few, all right, I'll be fast.
Yeah.
Really discover a passion for making really difference to people. Like, have been working with people all over the Europe and coaching them to get from where they are to where they want to be, and really inside of conversations for what they want.
Mm.
And that brings me so much joy and fulfillment. I have never imagined that I have something like this in me, that I can speak to anybody in the world. And I would always have a conversation who I am to make the difference to somebody amazing, like who already runs the amazing business or he's very successful, and still I can provide something in the conversation, in my listening and coaching, that really makes a difference to these people, which they accomplish what they want, and that fulfills me, and that's what I'm standing for. And then obviously, like, inspiring people with what I do, and my amazing passion, very crazy passion, which I found at very late age after I had my really. So I said I started running before I had my second son, who is now 7. The running turned into passion for gym, and then really, like, I start doing all the personal training with my trainer and taking on, really my fitness to the new levels. And we're talking about 3 years ago. So when I was 37, I said, I'm gonna do Ninja Warrior UK. Right? I don't know how many of your listeners, and I don't know,
Right.
did you even know that about me?
I think I have it in my mind that you do it, but I'm like now here again. Kasia did Ninja Warrior. What is that? Tell us.
So Ninja Warrior, I don't know how many people in Slovenia knows Ninja Warrior, but it's quite popular in few countries. It's this crazy TV show with this unbelievable obstacles. And my trainer challenged me, said, let's do a challenge. And I said, okay, that is the challenge I want to do. And he said, okay, ambitious but doable.
All right.
And until I start training, I didn't even know what I said yes to. And but
aren't those the best yeses when you don't even know what you said yes to?
Yeah, I didn't know. I just
I don't
said
know.
yes to
I'm
it.
just like thinking here. Like also, if I look into my life, the best yeses are like saying yes to be a husband. You don't know what you said yes to. Saying yes to be you don't know what you said yes to.
No.
Or saying yes to new businesses, new opportunities. So yeah.
Absolutely. Just say yes and see what's gonna happen. Yeah, that's the theme. So yeah, so I did apply for Ninja Warrior UK, and out of about 10,000 applicants, I have been invited to audition, which is probably about 1,000 people who have been invited to audition. I did audition, and I have been one of the people shortlisted. I have not made it to the program, okay? But I have been shortlisted, and they emailed me, if somebody gets injured or dies, we're gonna call on you. All right? I said, great, that's amazing.
Ninja Warrior, if somebody dies, we will call
if somebody
you.
dies, I will step in. And that started my passion for like obstacle course races. And I get teams of people who never even imagined they could run some Tough Mudders or, Spartans or other obstacle course races. And they join in and we do it as a team and we have fun with that. And my children work out with me. And this year, because of the COVID and the lockdown, we really took on fitness to the next level with a group of people, and we created a challenge of doing 1,000 repetitions of any kind of chosen exercise every day. And we started in April and kept on going throughout the lockdown. And now we're taking on challenge of doing attempting Guinness World Record in push-ups.
Awesome. I know. I was part of that group, had to give it on to some other guy. It was just too much, but it is like an awesome idea, and I support it fully. Especially when you just say how it is, how big it's gonna be. You say it because that's what I was enrolled by.
The record is in the biggest group of people doing push-ups the same time in multiple locations. And the current record stands at just under 1,300 people in 50 locations, and it have been accomplished by Ninja Warrior UK participants. All right. And it's going to be ordinary people with passion for fitness attempting this record. And the aim is to get up to 5,000 people in every location in every country. And we've got time to do it until July next year.
All right.
We're getting team together.
And you want to do in every country?
Right? I didn't get that. Your mic is still fine. Oh, no.
It might be your earphones, they said. The chat says they can hear me fine all the time.
Not yours.
Yeah, no, the chat is hearing me well. They said they hear me.
Okay, well. Good. Yeah. So it might be me not hearing the questions. Okay. I don't want to answer.
Yeah, but you, is it gonna happen in every country? Is that still the goal, or in as many countries as you can? And something about NASA doing on the space was also in game. Is that still in game?
Say that again.
So this challenge for the Guinness World Record, right? Do you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Hello? Yep. What's going on?
Right, let me take my headphones.
Okay.
Right now.
Yeah, it's better. Now I just got it.
No, I don't know, it's maybe my computer. Yours was flashing. Mine is just being funny with the sound now.
Right. Mine is still flashy, by the way. It's still doing it. So, Karina, can you take a note so that I don't forget to restart computer before every show or every stream I do? So that would usually help. So that everything.
I would love to answer your question, but I can't hear you at all now. Okay, so I can hear you now.
You can hear me now?
No.
Now?
No.
Now?
No.
Oh my god, this is
okay. I can hear you now.
You can hear me. Okay, cool. Anyway, you hear me?
No.
Come on, Kate.
It's not me. It's you.
How can it be me if everything is working?
When you're moving there, I don't know what is it that it's not working.
That's why I bought this microphone, so I could be here even if I'm moving, because I know I move a lot. Chat. Can you help me out here? What should we do? Let me see.
No. Yes.
Okay, wait. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay, cool. So microphone for you on Zoom is on camera, and microphone for the people is here. So that's okay. They hear me well. You hear me well. Perfect.
Okay, fine.
Basically, it's done. So question was, you want to do this Guinness World Record in every country and also on a spaceship. Is that still a goal?
Yes, of course.
All
we want to do it in every country and beyond.
All right.
So yes, we're reaching out to. So it's not only me personally doing it, right? I'm getting a group of people who will be crazy enough to say yes to such a challenge and join in. So we get a group of people.
How can people contact you? It's like if somebody here is watching and they say, "Hey, I want to do this challenge." How can how?
Well, Facebook, Insta. Then they can reach out to you, so you can then reach out to me.
All right.
That's the easiest way to do it.
There you go, guys. If you want to do it, reach out to me. I'll connect you with Kate and Kasia. Jesus.
But well done for catching yourself, right? That is improvement.
Yeah, no, but it's important, right? That sometimes we skip that, and we shouldn't skip that. That's like it's our name. It's part of who we are. So it's so if you wanna be in contact with this amazing lady named Kasia, it's like reach out to me. I'll connect you with her, and then you will set whatever you wanna set with her. So awesome. Anything else you want to share with us? We went like through a lot, right? Maybe give us a quick glimpse. There's always these questions about the relationship, which is like it's one of the important areas in people's life. Also, I mean, more specific to be romantic relationship. So you said you were going through divorce. How is that for you? How are you dealing with this? It's like just how did it came to be like that in a way? It's not, don't give us the full story, but just like
Yeah, that's gonna take us another 2 hours, all right? We're gonna
exactly right. But it's so fun to be with her, right, Chet? I'm enjoying it. I could have like conversation with you. In the beginning, we were a bit slow, It was like, to be honest, right? Catching how can we, and then when it came, when it comes to the passion, the more life we get, right?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So just give us, because it's like, I know that is important area for you, and it's in a state as it is. So how is that for you? How are you dealing with it?
Well, so, it is still in process. We have been, making decision about divorce right before Corona is probably, don't do it, guys, don't do it, all right? So that's definitely not the easiest thing, considering that, we have been living under one roof during the lockdown, which had its own challenges, of course. And now we live separate, and boys are staying with their dad for weekends, and they're with me full time. And it takes something to be in communication, especially we always going to be in each other's lives because we have children together. And it is challenging at times, and it takes something to be able to be with this other person and with communication what they dealing with, and then managing children at the middle of all of that. And it's we manage, with that, and it takes a conversation, and I think everything can be resolved in communication.
All right, there you go. But let's be in integrity with sleep, right? Karina said, like, let's be. So we won't go on. I just have, because on this area, want to conclude on that, right? We are doing podcasts on Monday. Our topic is jealousy. So a little glimpse from you, right? It's like there is always a question between people who are getting divorced, right? How are you? Are you gonna be jealous when he meets someone new, or
You know what? That is always there somewhere in the back of the mind, right? After being so many years together. But I just want him to be happy.
Right.
Really, I want him to be happy, and he deserves to have an amazing life and be fulfilled and be with the person who's gonna make him happy. So I always wish him the best, and you know, I hope he's gonna find somebody who's gonna make him really happy.
And that is also what love is, right? When you really love somebody, you are not like attaching them to you, but you're just standing that they're happy. And if that is not with you, well, okay, just go out there and be happy. So that is great thing. Notes taken in here. So I will put them on piece of paper. We will talk more about jealousy on Monday, guys. If you want to know about those topics, Kasia, really thank you for coming and sharing with us. Really like self-express authentically about your life and what you went through and how you are dealing with stuff. And it's really does hear that you are really empowered in what you're doing, and it's great. And we will be in contact anyway afterwards. We have some business together, so to speak, to to put out there in the world. But anyway, more to come. But yeah, really, really, really happy. Chat, do you have any question for Kasia or any comments? And maybe while they're typing, tell me, so how it was for you. What do you want to like share for the end
It was
about
great. That was my first experience of something like this. So really, thank you so much. And like really appreciate because we know each other well and
Mhm.
we have been working together for a while now. So really, thank you so much for inviting me. And it was just so easy to have this kind of conversation with somebody you already know, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you. Great questions as well. Really great
All right,
questions.
thank you, and I appreciate that, and thank you for the acknowledgement. And it's like it's vice versa as always. So yeah, chat is saying this was great. Uh, Karina said you missed my comment about this talk show being amazing. This talk show is amazing. I agree. And Karina also said it's been a joy watching today. Thank you for this experience. So on that notion, guys, I need to set up an outro music, which will be the same. We will change it because my wife's brother also, she's here next to me. That's why I look there. Also made a new video, new music. We have musicians in the family, so my cousins. So we will now listening again. So for those of you who are with me knows it's my cousin's band, Year of the Rookie. The name of the song is Little Things, which is amazing. I think if like you're aware of little things, life it's immediately more brighter than than otherwise. And yeah, then comes also the songs in the next streamers from what's the name of the band? The Crossroads. That's it. That's all it is. The Crossroads. Yeah. Yeah. So on Sunday will be the premiere of that song on my stream when there is a talk show with Mirko Vorkapic, which is one of Slovenian rappers and journalists and also Thai boxing fighters. So yeah, that's gonna happen now. Let's put it on. Oh man. Gotta skip the intro. Go to the main part. That's it, chat. I really love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting this stream. To have comments and for Kasha. Kasha, thank you for taking that on. Like always, we will pack this in YouTube, so you will be able to share this. So anybody comes to you and asks you, who is Kasha? What is she about? And you're like, man, I don't have time now. But if you have a time instead of a great movie, watch it. Go to Mr. JP YouTube channel and watch it. And there are also other great guests. So yeah, that is it. Thank you guys and good night.